Hi everyone, you're tuned in to One on One with Rags. But what's this crazy mood I am in today? I've written quite a lot for this next guest of ours. Would you like to know what I have written? Let me see if I can share some pen thoughts with you guys. So guys, how does this sound? A small tub filled with an excitement of sourdough confetti. A pair of thick oven mitts to handle the heat of a fiery passion to bake. An oven where her dream is baked to precision. Measuring cups with ingredients filled with lots of fun, focus, passion, and of course a little artsy mess. A food scale finally to weigh her love of her baking. Does this thrill and excite you? Wait till I introduce you to her then. Salam everyone. Here we are, beautiful day. Are we ready for some sourdough education today? I have here sitting by my side my very dear friend Miriam. Hi Miriam.
Hi.
Can we do
Lucky.
a nice cheers?
How are you? Cheers.
It's so good to see her on this podium, really.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Miriam, can you tell my viewers something about yourself, something about sourdough? Because I've been hearing so much about sourdough since our children went to same school, and that's how I know her, and I think everyone should know about her. Miriam, go on.
Well, I'm originally Iranian. I've been in Dubai since 2004, so it's been a long time. I came from New Zealand and Australia, so I lived many of my years, in my younger years of my life, in New Zealand and Australia. I came here only on a holiday, ended up meeting my husband after 3 months, and I never left. Never left, and I've been here since. So I have one child, Brandon. That's how you and I know each other.
He's a beautiful child.
Thank you. And life has been very good to us, and we've been very blessed to be here and very happy.
So Miriam, what's your sourdough story? Everyone has a story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I started doing a lot of bread production at home, trying to understand how I can make a really good, healthy, home-baked bread. I ended up buying myself an electric bread maker. And I tried mixing different types of bread and flour together to make the bread, and it ended up just being a disaster. And I'm thinking to myself, surely I should be able to make a decent bread so I don't have to buy it from the market, and I don't have to go to the supermarket, because then you know exactly what's in it. You know exactly what's in the bread. You know that you're not adding any oils, you don't have any preservatives, you don't have any of these additives that they add in order to keep it for a long life. So that's how I came about and came across the sourdough starter.
Very interesting.
To start with. A friend of mine, who's a dear Italian friend of mine, just gave me a jar of sourdough, and she said, Miriam, I want you to just go and use this instead of using a commercial yeast and see how it goes. So me being me, I ended up reading so many different books, watching so many different videos, and totally absolutely been inspired by the idea of being able to naturally ferment my bread and not using a commercial yeast, of course. And the long fermentations of the bread ended up making it such a magnificent, tasty, healthy bread that I just never looked back since then.
Wow.
I started sourdough baking, and it's been over 6 years that I've been doing this, and then more and more people who tasted my bread ended up asking me whether I should be able to teach them how to make the sourdough bread. And because of that, everything started growing.
Of course, the naughty in me is just arising now. Tell me, did I ever ask you, can I make bread? I'll tell you why I didn't. I already gave you all the answer. I'm such a bad chef. I'm such a bad cook, and I don't mind saying this on air. I would land up making those small baseballs.
Trust me, it won't be the
as
case.
bread. Can I bake, Miriam, with you?
Absolutely,
Yeah?
absolutely.
Can you tell our viewers a little bit about that?
Well, it's such a hands-on class that I can promise you at the end of a 3-4 hour workshop, you can confidently go home and you should be able to perfectly execute a sourdough bread
I'm
at
sure
home.
my husband's watching this.
No, seriously, I can promise you that it's very simple art of sourdough baking, but at the same time, it's incredibly rewarding. The minute that you start baking it, the minute that you start tasting your own home-baked
Wow.
bread, and you know what kind of stuff you can put in it, from be it a sweet potato, you can put quinoa, you can put chia seed, you can put olives, cheese, whatever, mix
Wow.
into your dough. You will be
And
amazed
I can
how
already
addictive
feel that
is.
sweet scent now
Yeah.
of the bread, yeah? So how can I make my own sourdough? How easy is it?
It's actually pretty simple, Raki, but one thing that you have to realize is that the sourdough baking starts with a sourdough starter. So the
Yes.
actual sourdough starter is the component which is basically a fermented flour and water mixture with a little bit of a lactobacillus bacteria and a bit of airborne yeast, which is in
Wow.
the air all around us. And the mixture of these together create a fermented liquid from the water and flour, which actually ferments your bread. And it does similar job to the commercial yeast that you buy from the supermarket and naturally ferments your bread at the end. So the combination of baking a sourdough bread, it's basically flour, water, and salt. So there are just
Please
three
note.
components. It's very simple.
Wow.
You don't need any commercial oven, you don't need any special gadgets, you don't need anything special, to be honest. We
Wow.
have it all in our own home, and you can simply bake a magnificent bread. I can promise you that.
Amazing. After this, I feel I can be like a doubtless baker now. I'm just
Absolutely.
going back with wings of good baking.
Yes.
Thank you, Miriam.
You're welcome.
So, my very important question to you now is, with the whole Expo 2020, and we're speaking so much about it,
Yes.
how do you think you as a baker, just as a baker at home, how can you inspire? What is it that you want my viewers to learn from you, with the whole Expo coming up? And
Yeah.
Can you tell us?
I think what I like to be able to offer to the communities is basically the healthiest loaf of bread, which is the sourdough, to people and to families. What I'm trying to do is to be able to inspire families and friends and people around me to actually eat real bread. Because
Wow.
that's what the sourdough baking is about. It's eating the real bread, getting back into the basic fundamental of that real bread that we all have. Doesn't matter what nationality or what background we come from, we all have our bread in our table, depending
amazing.
on whether we are from European background
Yes,
or
of
from a
course.
Middle Eastern background.
Yes.
We all have bread on our table regardless of our cuisine. And that's what I love to be able to do, that healthy aspects of the sourdough baking that I can offer families and friends to eat.
I can't stop giggling because I love the way she says real bread. So I remember the last time a friend said to me, she was in San Francisco and she kept hearing this lovely hum about sourdough. So do you know the origins, Miriam? Can you tell my viewers from
Yes.
where does this originate?
So, original of the sourdough baking actually goes back to over 6,000 years ago.
Wow.
This is the where our great parents were baking bread in a way that when they had a bit of a flour and mixed that flour with the water, after a while they realized that it's fermenting by itself and it's growing, and then they ended up baking it and it turned into a bread that we know about it today.
Right.
So the origin of sourdough baking, it's just going back to thousands of years ago. It's been around for so many years. Unfortunately, at the beginning of 1900s is when the commercial yeast started introduced into the bakeries, and people started using these fast fermented yeasts that we know and take away the perfect tasty sourdough bread out of the equation. And only just now we're seeing more and more people understanding that the benefits of the sourdough baking, and they started baking the sourdough way again, you know, baking bread in a sourdough way. So
I already have visions for the writer that I am.
Yeah.
How they must be doing this in the
so
prehistoric
it's a
times.
very much of an ancient
Yeah.
tradition. It's going back for years and years and years and thousands of years ago that people were doing it this way.
Absolutely. And I'm sure many of you will be thanking my dear friend for really putting out the gift of real bread on this table
absolutely.
today.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for
welcome.
being with us today.
Thank you, Rocky, for
tell
having me.
Oh, anytime. I'm going to have you again though. So tell me, what are the instruments that I need to bake a sourdough, a good sourdough?
Well, you basically need to have the sourdough starter, which we talked about, and flour, a really good quality flour, and some water, and the rest is basically already in your kitchen. So just a good oven to bake it, that's all you need.
I'm
And
sure a lot of
obviously
us have
knowing-
been seeing
Yeah.
what she's saying and following. Yeah, I really hope my husband's listening to you today. You know, a lot of our husbands should actually do sourdough with you.
Surprisingly enough, there are not that many husbands are coming, but we do have some from time to time that their husbands are the ones that they
How
like to do the baking.
inspirational! Wow.
Yeah.
So my husband's an HR specialist.
Okay.
He only knows salaries, pay scales. I know, as funny as it sounds. So tell me, can he also join? Is he capable of baking?
Of course, yes. Of course he can. I mean,
You can.
Yes, it's absolutely possible. I mean, I had so many different types of walk of life people come to me, from a lawyer who ended up stopped working on a Sunday and come to my workshop, and
That's incredible.
I know, and I had a
Wow.
dentist guy who back then was so interested in sourdough baking and made a point of having a day off from his work to come and learn how to do sourdough
What
workshop.
fun.
So it is possible for sure.
What fun.
It's incredible.
So for all you men out there, check it out. There's so much fun. Yeah.
Yes. If they are one of those people who are into cooking at home,
Yeah.
I think that baking becomes very natural to them.
Yes.
Because my workshop is incredibly simple, and it's absolutely for beginners. You don't have to know
Right.
any history or background
Right.
in baking. You can just come absolutely fresh and learn how to do it and walk out an absolute expert.
Is it right also to say that this could be like a big stress buster for all of us in general? You know, in today's life, we're all running, we're all doing, we're all out there.
Absolutely, I totally can relate to that myself, Raki. The sourdough baking, it's quite addictive in a way that putting your hands into that beautiful, fresh and silky dough, it's becoming addictive to the point that it feels like you're playing with the dough. I had a friend of mine who joined me once. She used to go to pottery shops and pottery workshops. She rang me back afterwards. She says, Miriam, it's just incredible. I can play with my dough. I can manipulate my dough and shape my dough and then bake my dough and eat it. And it's similar to a dough that I do with my pottery class, but in a way that I can actually eat it afterwards. So she just loved the idea of being able to play and manipulate and get her hands dirty, and at the end of it actually creating something that is edible.
Wow.
So Rags, you've been saying that your husband might be interested to come and learn how to do sourdough baking.
That's
Would
correct.
you want me to tell you how you can get hold of me?
Of course, be my guest.
So I have an Instagram account which is called sourdough _bakers me. That's for Sourdough Bakers Middle East. People can connect with me directly and find out about the workshops, find out about the sourdough baking, and any questions in regards to that can be easily be reached out through Instagram account. So I also have a Facebook page which is the Sourdough Bakers Middle East, and you will be able to connect with me through that as well.
Mariam, merci, kheli mamnoon.
خواهش میکنم.